Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carl, I'm a recovery coach here at Capital Recovery Center, and this is our coffee and conversation meeting for the day. The article I have here is by pathwaysrecovery.com, and I have one day at a time recovery tips. So we'll hop right into it. Living in the present is a difficult task for many people. Anxieties are about the future and regrets about the past can haunt us and make it seem as though living for today is out of the question. While trying to focus on the present can be difficult, it is the best way to embrace the limited time we have each day and take on challenges one day at a time. We can't know the future and we can't change the past. The only solution is to move forward little by little and focus on what we can handle and do today. I like that. That's one thing I learned in early recovery is like taking one day at a time, right? So if I'm focused on the future, right, and I'm focused on the past, it's like I'm not doing so much in the present moment. And what I learned too, oh, got one here. How you doing? Good morning.
Hi, Tara.
Hi. I made
How you doing?
I had an accident.
Did
Oh,
you?
no.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah, someone backed into me at Wawa, but I made it. My cousin helped me out.
Oh, thank God you're okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
So to me, we have the article I have here is one day at a time recovery tips. So this article talks about taking one day at a time, which and then like we got another one. Uh, and we're so focused on the future and we're focused on the past. It's like I can't enjoy the present moment, and that's what recovery taught me is being present, what I can do today. The future is not even here; it might not even come. We don't know, right? The past, what I've done, I can't change, so I have to accept and surrender that. Like I can visit it, I can revisit, but I can't stay stuck in the past. If I stay stuck in the past, more than likely I said I'm not going to enjoy the present moment. That's what we're trying to enjoy is today. Because here today, going tomorrow, I see it all the time. It's sad, what I mean? So I try to live in the moment and live in the day. And we have, let's see here, difficulties of living one day at a time with substance use disorder. Living the present can be particularly challenging for people struggling with a substance use disorder. Substance use often severes as a manner of escape from reality. During active use, an individual rely on substance for relief from reality will often find themselves in a place of denial. Denial is a phrase that only serves to further separate the individual from reality and make it increasingly difficult to focus on the present problems and situations. There are multiple reasons why an individual would want to seek an escape from reality. That's why we sometimes suffer from disease of addiction, drugs and alcohol. We try to escape reality. In some cases, a traumatic experience might have served to breed distrust of any future connections and relationships with others. Humans are social creatures by nature. Dependable, trustworthy, and intimate relationships are valued connections. When a traumatic experience like betrayal or dishonesty occurs, an individual becomes wary of other relationships when trust is broken. It takes a while to rebuild. In some cases, individuals begin to distance themselves from others and turn to substance use in an attempt to fill unmet emotional needs. Substance use skews as individual perspective and creates an illusionary world separate from reality. This is why many individuals reach a critical stage in their substance use or rock bottom before entering into an addiction treatment program. And it talks about it as like an escape, using drugs and alcohol as an escape of reality. And that's very true. A little bit of self-medicating or using because traumatic events happened in life. So we don't want to deal with them. It's hard. We think about it's harder to deal with them clean and sober. You know, in the reality, we're really harming ourselves more and more and more while we keep using. You know, we're causing more trauma, we're causing more problems, and you know, we stay stuck in that vicious cycle. And until I began to, for me and many others, until I began to heal and deal with what was going on with me, is when I was completely absent and like got with counseling and therapy and went to treatment and dealt with them in a healthy way. You know, you have to. I don't see, you know, I don't see my solution in drugs and alcohol today. You know, I did that for many, many years, and it got me more pain, more suffering, more trauma. You know, it just made matters worse. Where today I try to find a permanent solution. You know, that was just a temporary fix. You know, using drugs and alcohol. It was just putting a band-aid over it, and then it was still arise. You know, so it's like getting to the root of the problem and figuring out what's really going on with me. You know, getting to the root of the problem is very necessary in recovery. You know, let's see. Next one is, why is living one day at a time important? When you enter into a treatment program, you have a chance to re-see your situation and take back control of your life. In recovery, it's important to understand and come to terms with the reality of the way things are now. Let's go. You can't change the past, you can't see into the future, but in the present, your whole life is taking place in the moment. You have control over your actions in the present moment and can live on your own terms. Being aware of your surroundings and circumstances can help you let go of some anxieties about the future or past regrets. Focus on your current reality can promote gratitude and peace of mind. By focusing on the here and now, you can worry less about the uncontrollable variables and start living your life in the fullest. You have the ability to make decisions now that will build up your legacy and stabilize your future. Remember that living in the present means that you take it one day at a time. Big chances don't happen overnight, whether that's in recovery, in a recovery space, or anywhere else. But over time, each day that you make it through another stepping stone and great accomplishments. Yes, you have control over your actions in the present moment and live on your own terms. So basically, yeah, it's kind of hard to not focus on the future, right? I mean, it doesn't say don't like set goals. Like it's good to set goals and like project some things, you know what I mean? But you can't live in that fantasy of like that can control you, that can consume you of staying in the future, you know, and focusing on the past. It's like live the here and now and focus what you can control today. That's hard for some people, you know, and it was hard for me. It can be, it varies. It can be day to day, but if you could, it can, I want to say you can overwhelm yourself doing that. You know, I have to do this, I have to do that. You know, and then you're not like your anxiety's way here and you can get depressed. You know what I mean? So if you focus on what you're doing today and control what you control today, it can vary less anxiety, depression, because you can worry yourself to death. You know? Yeah, I think we all have, you know, but like we pray and let go, you know, and just have faith things are going to work out, and they will work out. Like it or not, the things are going to go my way or not go my way, you know. And that's thing just comes with practice of just like surrendering, accepting, and practicing principles that, you know, we're taught in recovery. Can make your life a lot easier, well, a little smoother, you know what I mean? And give you a little cushion that like I can just relax and let go, you know, instead of trying to put my hands in everything and control everything. I think we all have a little bit of control stuff going on in our lives, you know, so it's hard to not put your hands in everything and like you want things to go our way sometimes, and it's not the case, you know. You gotta let go and let things be, and that takes practice. Everything takes practice. Let's see here, the 5 rules of recovery. To keep up with your recovery journey, it can be helpful to know that makes up the right track and expectations that go along with it. There are 5 common rules of recovery in the addiction treatment world. These 5 rules cover the majority of what you need to do in recovery. It can also serve as indicators of relapse. When relapse occurs, it is usually because one of the 5 rules has been broken. With these 5 rules, you can see that recovery is not beyond your control. These simple to remember guidelines will be a handy tool to help you navigate your recovery. All right, let's see what the 5 rules are. So change your life. The obvious, yes, we have to change our lives. Recovery doesn't happen because you stop using. Recovery begins with a commitment, decision to change your lifestyle to one where it is easier or not use without creating new healthy habits. It's easy for old ways to catch up and relapse. This wishful thinking of wanting an older lifestyle back without the addiction isn't very realistic. This change should not be seen as the negative. Instead, the need for change is an important opportunity indeed. Recovery prompts this self-reflection and reevaluation of a lifestyle based around addiction. It allows an opening for great change to happen. Now, before the idea of change becomes too overwhelming, you should know that change doesn't mean every single thing in your life will be turned upside down. Instead, there are only certain parts of our life that need to be changed. Successful change includes changing negative thought patterns, avoiding people, places, and things associated with using and avoiding high-risk situations. Yes, people, places, and things is very important. When you come to recovery, it's like they say you have to change everything. And that can be scary. That was scary for me. Like, I have to change everything. Well, the first thing I gotta stop and change is my drug use is one, and like everything else will start to fall in place. I think in early recovery, that's like, it's a big thing. Like, I have to change my whole life. It's like that can be overwhelming. But like, guarantee you change that one thing if you put the drugs and alcohol down first. Other things will come together, and it just takes time. Like, I overwhelm myself. Like, when I first got in early recovery, it's like I have to do this, change that. And like, I wasn't really focusing on what I really had to do. I got overwhelmed, and as we talk about one day at a time, changing this and changing that, slowly my life came together. It's different for everybody. Like, my life, it was changing more so than others, where some people were changing more than I was. So it's like, it's not a race, it's not a competition who's gonna get better faster or whatever. It just takes time. Your process is your process, and like, you do what you can do, and little by little my life started to grow and change, and things start to happen. As they say, I started to change without my permission. People see me changing more than I did, because we're stuck with ourselves every day. People see it, and they'll tell you, wow, you look physically good. You're not acting the same way you did. It's just a recovery process. You have to do, man. It's worth it. It just takes time. And I think I touched on this before. As an addict in recovery, we want things overnight. We want results. We want instant gratification. We want things to change right away. And like, I wasn't willing to hold on. Like, every time I got clean and sober and like went to treatment and stuff like that, I never did like aftercare. Like, I thought I was gonna be okay just putting drugs and alcohol down. Like, no, there's work I had to do to get where I'm at today, and it just doesn't happen overnight. I wasn't willing to hold on, because life gets tough. Life can squeeze you, and like, what am I going to do when things happen? You know what I mean? I can't pick up. I already know the results. I've done that for many, many years. I already know the consequences. So why am I going to keep on doing the same thing? That's part of the disease of addiction and insanity of, like, I'm trying to solve my problems with drugs and alcohol. It just doesn't work. It's like I tried for many, many years and I tried on my own and it just didn't work for me. So what, like, why not change, do something different? That's one thing I had to do is something different. It's like, seems like it's scarier to do something different than stay stuck. And the same, like, because like it's familiar. That's the saying of it. It's like familiar. I know what I'm doing when I use drugs and alcohol. I don't know how to live without drugs and alcohol. I never, since I was a little kid, well, young age, like I don't know what that's like. So it's scarier to do that. And that kept me stuck. It kept me stuck like Chuck for a long time. And it takes time. It definitely takes time. So let's go to the next one. Let's see here. All right. So we're still in this one here. So it says negative thought patterns. Negative thinking is often a risk factor and an indicator for developing an addiction or relapsing. This kind of thinking is characterized by negative self-labeling and all or nothing attitude. Here's some of the things. I am too far gone to ever be happy or have a chance at recovery. Man, I think they wrote this article about me. Yeah, I mean, that was me. Like I'm broken on repair. Like I'm a lost cause. Like, and I told myself all these negative things about myself. So I ultimately dug myself deeper, deeper, and deeper in addiction. Right. It was up to me, and I made my bed and I had to lay in it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was very true of me. I am too far gone to be happy for sure. I never been able to resist cravings, so I couldn't try. Cravings are big things. People, places, and things is obstacles, but like cravings of like drugs and alcohol. That's hard to kick. And it was the easiest way to solve them cravings is to use. They come and go just like emotions and feelings. That doesn't last forever. Cravings, emotions, and feelings will pass. They don't stay with you. You just got to hold on and stay in position, and things will pass. People wouldn't like me if they knew who I really was. That's a big one. If you're open and honest and really telling somebody who you truly are, fear of rejection, fear of not good enough, stuff like that. But like I've learned in recovery, like we're all the same. You know what I mean? We're all human. First, foremost, we're all human. Ain't no different, no better than, no less than, right? We're all equal. My life won't be as fun without using, and I'll be more boring. Okay, yeah, I told myself that one many, many times. Recovery is too much work and not worth it. I never visit that one. Recovery is too much work and not worth it. I might not seem worth it in me, but as the recovery process, I just didn't see it in the cards for me. I didn't see it working for me. It might work for others, but like I'm different, or like I said, I'm too broken to be fixed. That was just illusion I was telling myself. I'm my worst enemy for the fullest. Think about it. The things we tell ourselves, we start to tend to believe it. For sure, and like that can kill us. And I was on a bad path. I said one of the most common fears is that you won't be able to recover. There's an incorrect image of people who recovered as having amazing strengths and willpower that could never possess. This completely inaccurate. Regular people who also have weaknesses and struggles manage to recover 100%. Cognitive behavioral therapy has been proven to be an effective method for correcting negative thinking along the mental health conditions like anxiety, depression. Negative thinking is something you have to learn. Therefore, you can't unlearn it and replace it with more positive thoughts and a healthier attitude. So like you're telling yourself things over and over again, I'm not going to be able to change. If I'm telling myself I'm no good, I can't get clean and sober. I can't have a good life. I can never be happy. What do you think I'm going to do? You know, I'm going to stay stuck. You know, and I was misinformed myself. You know, I was misinformed myself, and it's like a lot of things that you've been raised. You know, that's I always go back to that. You know, who do you hang around with? You know, who is your parents? Are they teaching you things? Because the misinformed will lead to the misinformed. You know, wherever you get your information at, stuff like that. That when you're young, you can grow up that way. You know, and or have I had parents in my life? Did I have any guidance? Did I have any structure? All that stuff plays a part in disease addiction. It all stems from a young age, I think. It can and cannot, but most of us is like things happen at a young age, and we start to grow up and start to believe certain things, and
Normalize it.
huh?
Normalize it.
Yeah, and so yeah, and that's what I thought as a kid. Like the friends I was hanging around with, all smoking weed, drinking, partying, and having fun. And listen, yes, it was fun at one time, but then it took over my life, you know. But yeah, I thought it was normal that kids grew up this way, and it's not. It's not, you know. I justified it, you know. It's just not the way to go. Let's see here. So people, places, and things. This is a big one. For a more successful recovery, it's important to pay attention to the kind of environment you surround yourself with. People, places, and things related to using can all serve as triggers for addiction or relapse. Be aware of where and with whom you spend your time with. It says people, any people who you use with or encourage you to use. Yeah, get recovery. We can't hang out with the same people that I used to use. What I do is today is I try to help people. Because you know, I know a lot of people. I use with a lot of people, so of course I'm going to run into people that I used to use with. So it's like a high and goodbye. Like, you know, this is what I'm doing today, and if you want to help, I'll help you. You know, for sure. But I'm not going to hang around with you.
Right.
You're not going to become my friend again if you're using. You know what I mean? I just can't. Maybe in the future, but like right now, if you're not doing the right thing for the right reasons, and you're currently using stuff like that, I mean, I'm here for you. I'm willing to help you, but I can't put myself in them situations, right? Because you never know. I can start using with that person. You know, I can't put or not even just using. You know, getting arrested or getting in trouble. Like even think about it. Having somebody in your car that's using, right? So they've had drugs or something like that. Now you're in a sticky situation, you know, and you get pulled over, boom, you're hit, you know. What if they don't fess up to it? Everybody gets charged if you know that. So stuff like that we don't think about. Places, anywhere you went to use or obtain substance. Yeah. And when I got in recovery, I didn't walk the streets. You know, that was my main thing. I used to walk everywhere. You know, I was afraid. You know, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I used to use everywhere, you know, and where I was living at, there was drugs everywhere. So, like, I didn't go nowhere. If I was going to meetings or I was going to another recovering addict's house. I was going places where recovery was at.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I didn't hang around with or same places and people and things. And it says things, any substance related paraphernalia. Yeah, I cut everything out of my life that had to deal with drugs and alcohol. So that, you know what? I'll tell you a little story. The other day that I was helping my mom clean out her shed, and there were still finding paraphernalia from almost. I'm coming up on 6 years in August. So, and they're still finding paraphernalia, like, because I used to have it everywhere. You know what I mean? So it's like, can't get away from it, you know? So, you know, I'm helping her clean out her shed and then going through her papers and stuff, and there goes a needle. Like, you know, so this, it's crazy, right? But it's not like I wanted to use it or pick it up or whatever. It's like, well, we're getting rid of this. You know, because you think about it, years and years of active addiction, you know, there's things that will arise even until the day I pass, you know. So people will, the stigma of me using and things I've done and things I've seen and the people that are hurt, that's always there. You know what I mean? Recovery's taught me to deal with it in a lot healthier way. You know, better coping skills, better communication skills, doing for others. You know, giving back is a great thing to do. That's one thing I do today in recovery is give back. That's like my amends process. Because there's some things that I mean, you can make amends for, but some people are not willing to take. You know, so I like to give back is a way to make that amends. You know, it says high risk situations. Some of the most common high risk situations in which relapse will occur or referred to as, it says HALT, hungry, angry, lonely. So some of these things cause, it says strong cravings often occur at the end of the day, usually after work or a day of task. People are more likely to feel hungry, frustrated because of work, lonely and tired after doing so many things. These factors often contribute to why strong cravings occur at the end of the day. I get it, you're probably restless, tired, got this going on, and this going on. So our minds go to using sometimes. And that can happen. That's like one of the triggers of cravings. You know what I mean? We get overwhelmed day-to-day stuff, you know what I mean? And that can be overwhelming for, you know, an addict, you know. And that, like I said, cravings and stuff like that will happen. You know, that stuff will happen. And you know, since I've been in recovery, thank God, you know, I lost the desire to use. You know, you might have thoughts, stupid thoughts, you know, but like I don't have the cravings and the desire to use. It's hard to shake that sometimes, you know, and that can overwhelm you. And sometimes we think is a quick solution is to use, but then start the whole process over. There's consequences to our actions. You know, there's consequences to using. And I partied enough for many, 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 many people. So I know what the outcome is. Like I play a tape out. If I don't pick this up, I can't get high. You know what I mean? If I do pick it up, there's a whole bunch of consequences along with it. You know, that's my past. I know my past, you know. So it's not worth it, I tell you that. It says keep track on your high risk situation so you can hold yourself accountable and be aware of when you're nearing a high risk situation or are in the middle of one. While it may seem monumental, these small changes are what will help you recovery in the long run. Yeah, so we start to know ourselves in recovery, right? So I know if I associate myself with this person, I'm going to end up getting angry, frustrated. You know, everybody's not for everybody. So we get to know ourselves where like our triggers are and people placing things. It's like, well, I know if I go over here, this is going to happen. You know what I mean? So we know where to stay away from. You know, that's another great way to navigate through life in sobriety is like know where you can go and where you can't go or who you can hang around with, not hang around with. You know, you start to get to know yourself in recovery. You know, that's what truly what the recovery process is about. It's get to know like your triggers and your cravings and all that good stuff to like not relapse, you know. So I think we'll end it there. I think that was a great meeting. That's our coffee and conversation meeting for the day. Do you guys have anything to share? Tiara? Johanny, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Anything to share?
You don't have to. I'm just asking.
No, you explained it very thorough. Like I understood everything you were saying, and the biggest part is like you have to know yourself.
Yeah.
Like to know yourself, you gotta know the triggers.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Just like when we're using drugs and alcohol, we really don't know ourselves. We're like lost and confused. You know, we're so clouded with drugs and alcohol. We're like, it's like night and day when we're like putting the substance down. You know what I mean? Like we get to know ourselves. And I do a 12-step fellowship. I do 12-step meetings and stuff like that, and we do step work. And like that's the most freeing thing. It is. It's like putting on paper and going over it with somebody. It's
Uh-huh.
like getting that monkey off your back. You're like, we come in recover with a lot of baggage. That's a lot of baggage.
Right.
To get that off your back and get free from that, it's a great thing.
Right.
Well, thank you guys for showing up. Appreciate you coming on the meeting.
No problem. Nice meeting you.
You too.
Hopefully I can make it there next time.
Yeah, you're more than always welcome. Always welcome coming. So you guys have a great day.
You too. See you guys.
I'll see you. Like I said, my name is Carl, recovery coach here at Capital Recovery Center. That was our coffee and conversation meeting for the day. Until next time, we'll see you later.